Howdy ho, my crafty friends. How are you today? This is Lori at the Ladybug Journals. I'm so glad you joined me. I wanted to hop in and create. I know we've been working on our little green journal and our beginner series, but my son and his lovely, lovely wife gave me this beautiful stack of books that I will share with you on another video. But in that stack of books was this Hey Diddle Diddle book. And it is not in very good shape, which I was just tickled to death when I saw this book in there. It's a book of nursery rhymes. And it came in these 3 pieces, just like this. And my son said, "Mom, I didn't even know that book was in there. They just gave it to me for free." And Tabby, that's his wife, said, "Oh, she's gonna love it." And he said, "I just looked at her." So, and I said, "No, she's right. I love it." So I've been thinking, what's the best way to handle it. So I wanted to show you how old books. This book is from 1962, and it's not a little golden book. As you can tell, it's not gold here, but it has that little elf. I used to have a lot of these little books, and I always loved that little elf. I wanted to show you how these books were sewn together. As you can tell, they were just sewn on a big machine. That's what one side looked like. And that's the other side of it. And they were literally sewn in to the book like this. They were put like this. And then this little spine was put around the book like this. And it was sewn. The pages were sewn together like that. And then it was sewn in. See where it was sewn in? And then they had the front and back cover, which when you open the book, let me show you here. As you open the book, the very inside picture, which would be our cover, was glued to the front, and it was sewn in like we do now, but they would have used a big machine. Now in this book, the back picture is also the last page of a nursery rhyme, which posed a little bit of a problem. So the back page, or the back cover of the journal right here, is glued down. See, it's glued down here. It's glued down to the book board. It's the last page of this nursery rhyme, Cock-a-doodle-doo. So, that's what was taking me so long and trying to figure out, how am I going to sort these pages? And are they, and it's just one little tiny signature. And I wanted to see, are the pages all folded together? And lo and behold, they are. Look at that. So that's what they look like in the middle. And they're just as fragile as they can be. There's where they were sewn into the book. So I want to take this, and I haven't even been using my scissors. I've just been pulling it out by hand because I didn't want to nick any of the pages. So everything I've taken out, I've just done by hand. But I wanted to show you how you could just use your scissors. Use very tiny scissors and come in and nick the pages, or nick the threads. Don't nick your pages. You can come in and just nick the threads like this. So you want to go under them. And you want to make sure you get them all at one time. Just like that. And then don't pull from that side. Come over to this side and pull. Okay, so to get a hold of them, I'm going to get my little baby awl here, and I'm just going to pull them like this. And that's going to give us our little signature. And what we're going to do is, I'm not even going to cut them. I don't want to cut them. Okay, so you have to be really careful with these old books, because the pages, we don't know how they were stored. Well, we don't know where they were stored. Most of the time they were stored in attics, which is what gives them this caramelly color because of the heat, that attics get. And if you weren't raised with an attic, then you will not understand what I'm saying. But in the summertime, attics are like storing something under glass. They get extremely hot. And then in the winter, they get extremely cold. You know that old saying, hot air rises, cold air sinks. All that hot air from your house, the hot air, the condensation, all heads up to the attic. And our books that are stored up there, this is what they eventually look like. The pages get brittle. The pages get this marvelous caramel color on them, but they get brittle. So now it's all apart. So we can put these little scissors away. Okay, maybe we can put our little scissors away. I don't like putting them away without the cover on them, because then I'm going to stick my hand on them and cut my finger. Okay, so let's put them in there, and we'll put that up there because we might need it. So what I went through yesterday, I've got the things that we're just going to put 2 signatures in our book. So what I went through yesterday was I went through to kind of see how the little nursery rhymes were played out. And this page are one rhyme. But then when I open this page is okay. So if I open this, but this page belongs to this page. So that has to stay together, which means this has to stay together. There is no way of separating them all the way back. There's just no way of doing it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it open like this. And this page has to end up at the back of the book, or you don't get to finish the cock-a-doodle-doo. I mean, I guess you don't have to. You could read part of it and then come back and finish it. I guess it really doesn't matter. But to me, I'd like to keep keep them together, because it just seems odd, reading something and you only get half of it. But like these 2, there's nothing there. And the pages that are torn, I'm going to put... I had thought about putting some washi tape down them. I just want to show you the condition of the pages. Where they were sewn, now they have all those little holes. So I had thought about opening them up flat and taking my iron and ironing them flat. Just a dry, warm iron. And ironing them flat to try and get these holes to go back down a little bit, because I'm going to be stitching right down that fold. And I'm going to take some fabric, I think, maybe fabric tape, and put down one side of them. Probably about, how wide is that? That's about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch across here, to protect it, so when I stitch through it doesn't tear. And keep this all in one area. And this might even just be the center signature. So instead of just 2 signatures, have 3, and make this the center signature right here. So that's the plan for this. But I'm just not sure yet. So let's put all these together in the order they go in. And then the other signatures aren't going to be, real big, because, of course, the spine isn't big, as I showed you. The spine's very narrow. Our spine is 1/2 inch. Now, we could make it bigger if we wanted. Excuse me. We could make it bigger if we wanted, and I might make it 1 inch. I'm not sure yet. And I'm just going to use coffee dyed paper. you know, for the other 2 pages. And I do want to make sure I have the same amount of paper in them. And as we go through building them, I'm going to build them with you. We're going to put doilies in them. And this is old school paper from when my son was in school a very long time ago. And we're going to put a piece of baking paper in it. And this is a piece of paper that came out of a book that we took apart. And of course, it will get trimmed. So those are the pages that are going to go on our signatures. It's going to be kept very simple because we're going to decorate it. And now this book will be sold. I will be selling it. And now as far as, okay, let's get this moved over here. Now as far as scrapbook paper goes, these are the 2 paper pads that I got out. I was looking at the colors in here. The colors in here are, they're tans, you know, they're browns, they're the brick reds, they're the what used to be the basic children's colors. So as I look at them, this background pack, not going to work. It's more of the pinks and the muted, that colors. So this one's not going to work. So I can put this one out of our way. This one, called the lace backgrounds, I think I might take out a page or so of it. I definitely won't be taking this one out. But, you know, a page or so of it, of the lacy backgrounds or the floral, I might take out and use because they're vintage page. They're vintage. And this book is from 1962. So I might take those out and maybe use them for pockets. Maybe use them for, you know, different things like that. So let's see. Let me get it in here. And this is from Stamperia. And it's called Old Lace. And it's very pretty paper. And I have no idea why I bought it. I just liked the paper, I guess. Let's see what all's in here. I don't know. I love paper, so, you know, I buy it. And then I forget I have it. So let's go on and put our paper clip back on there. And let's see what's in here that we could use. Now see, I like that right there. That's very nice and plain and simple. But we don't need our ladybug tags. Now see, that's a nice page we could use. And so is this one. I don't particularly like the flowers. It doesn't really go. That would be a nice tag to use in there. And I just ordered some other paper that has some more colors. Now these tags here, that, you know, that back up to these, they would be nice. And then we could, you know, do something to cover the backs. This one with the butterfly, that's not bad. And it's nice and plain on the back. This page I do like. And it's nice on the back. The flowers are, you know, they're not my favorite. They don't really go with this very well. You know, I want to make some, I like these little tags here. I think they would work well. And it's just a plain background. I think these little tags would work well. Okay, a piece or two of it might work, being vintage, but I don't think a lot of it. I think I'll have to look through my paper a little bit more and see if I have anything that's more in the colors that are in the book. I'm sure I do over there in all of my paper. I'm sure I do that has some, but I'll pull out those, a little bit of that lace, maybe if I don't find anything else. For some tags, and we'll see what all we can find. So I thought what we would do today is I would introduce you to the project and let you know everything that we have planned. And we would maybe get our signatures going here. And we're going to go on and get this paper cut straight. So let's get our paper cutter going. Yeah, and this video is not going to be a long one. I just wanted to introduce you to the project and invite you to, you know, if you have a little golden book or a book like this that you would like to craft along and create, that would be super. Okay, now let's cut this edge off of this one. Okay, now these are going to get folded this way. These are going to get folded this way. Should go in there like that. So I'll be able to tell if I've cut it straight or not. Yeah, looks like it's okay. That one looks like it's okay. Let's see if I did this one straight. And yep, that one looks okay. All right, so those two are looking good. Okay. All right, so the best part about putting together a signature to me is you can move things around. You can move it any place you want to move it. So I like these edges up here because they're easier to cover. Okay, and let's put this up here in the maybe 2 or 3 pages in. Okay, and let's take our lace. And I want to fold it, and instead of sewing it in, I want to put it up here like this. Now, let me put a paper clip on it so I don't lose it as I'm moving the book around. Okay, that'll lay down. Okay. Now this is the... Yeah, they've been on edge today. I apologize. We have been having severe thunderstorm warnings. And the storms we have just been something else. Okay. So this is baking paper. It's coffee dyed baking paper. And baking paper is not wax paper. Baking paper, you can find it in the same area. But it will say baking paper on the box. Okay. So we're going to take our ruler here, and we're going to cut it straight. And I don't necessarily want them all to be, you know, the same size. And I'm going to take my craft knife. Actually, I'm going to need this one. I apologize for reaching in front of you, but I'm going to need my metal knife, or my metal ruler, since I'm going to use my knife. And we're going to cut this back here. There we go. Now, if it's a little bit smaller than the rest of them, that's quite all right. That's kind of what I wanted. Okay, and I want this in here, like this. There we go. That's perfect. Now this piece here, which was that book page piece. Remember, I told you it was from a book that we took out. It's going to go, we're going to fold it, and it's going to go right here in the front. just like that. And then right here's our first signature. Whoops, put them all out. Okay. There's that one, just like that. And then we're going to do this one the same way, except I'm thinking we might do this page, this one as a flip. Instead of wrapping it around, I think we might do this one as a flip out. Let me do the rest of these first. Let's go on and cut this. Let's do this as a page wrap around. Now, if you don't want to wrap this around a page, you certainly don't have to. You can save it and do something else with it. But I like doilies in little things like this. Now, see on this one, I've got it up here in the front. Now, where's my book page at? On this one, I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so let's trim up this. Okay, let's move this one over here. Now, since we know this one's done, we're going to, come on, straighten up. We're going to clip it at the top. We're going to put that there. Put this here, just like that. Okay, now let me make sure I didn't cut it too tall. Oh, it does need trimmed a little bit. Okay. Make it a little shorter. Always helps if you open up your knife, doesn't it? Oh, I didn't go through it. That's better. Okay, now let's get this off the table. Okay. Now, I like working with baking paper better than wax paper. Now, you can dye wax paper because I've done it. What you have to do, if all you have is wax paper, you can still dye it with coffee and tea. What you have to do first, though, is you wrinkle it up. You get it wet, and then you scrunch it into a ball in your hands. And that breaks the wax seal that's on it. And then you put it into your coffee or tea mix, and you can, and it'll take the color. It doesn't take the color as well as baking paper or some other items, but it will take the color. Now, you can also dye it with, it really dyes bright with like food coloring. It really takes the color there. Okay, we're going to make it a flip out on this page. So I think what we're going to do here, let's see, how do I want this to flip out? I think I want it to flip, I think I just want to fold it. I just want to do a Z fold. So let's fold this into threes. So I'm just laying it down and I'm just folding it into thirds. That's all I did. Okay, I just folded it into thirds. Okay, that's all I did. I just laid it down and folded it into thirds. Just like if we were making, you know, a little trifold. That's all I did. And now I'm taking my bone folder and I'm going over those folds. Okay, that's all that I did. And I'm going to make sure that those folds are going to work no matter what way. Okay, now I'm going to put one end around the back and one end here, and then it can go this way, and then back here I've got this. Okay, so let's go on and paper clip it in. Now, you can go on and glue this in if you want. If you're positive the page that you've put it on is where you want it, you can go on and glue your items in. But you guys know how fickle I am. I always change my mind on things. So I've stopped doing that because, well, then I changed my mind. And as I'm looking at this, I've got everything up front. I don't have anything in the back. So we're going to change that right now. See, I've already changed my mind. We're going to go toward the back, and we're going to put this back here. I have everything that extra that we put in the front. So we're going to put this back here. Yeah, I'm bad about that. We're going to put that back there. Okay. And then any of the folded pockets that you've done, any of the flip outs that you've done, like the, remember the pockets? Remember the flip pockets that we've done? They could go in, anything like that, you know, that you've done, they could go in. Easy peasy, they could go in. So I think I'm going to make some changes on this one too, because again, everything went in the front. So I think I'm going to take this doily that we put in, and I'm going to move it towards the back because I don't have anything back here. Well, I guess I have more back here than I thought I did. I think I'm going to put it kind of here toward the middle. There, I'll put it in the middle. There. Okay, now I think it's kind of more, it's a little more spread out. So now let's take a look at them. So on this one, we have this little one, and we have this page. Now this is a good way to determine, you know, before you sew your signatures, is this how you want them? Okay. You know, do you want to move anything? Is there something that you want to change? Are there pages that you want to change? You know, things like that. Do you want to add anything? Okay. Yeah, and see, this being just plain and simple like this gives us the opportunity to add those pages with the cardstock. Okay, so this one, and there will only be like 1 or 2 pages of cardstock per signature because I don't want these to be bulked up with cardstock. So they'll probably be the bigger pockets. There we go. Okay. All right, these are done. These are done for now. Okay, so let's go on and get this paper clip together. So I think it's going to go the first one, the second one. This will go in the middle, like this. Oh, that was the piece that was sewed to the book. Okay. Yep, and as you can tell, they're smaller than the original book. And that's okay. I'm not going to trim the original book. I'm just going to leave it. That gives us room to make things a little wider because the book is going to be as wide as this. Okay. I'm going to make the book this wide. And with these signatures being thinner, we can do wider things sticking out here. We can do wider flip outs. We can do wider things like that and not fear that they're going to actually stick out of the book. Because we have the room. You know, normally we don't have the room to do that. Okay. So let's put these aside. Now, we're not going to do any sewing right now, but we are just going to do some prep work. Okay. Now, on here, we're going to cut this off right down through here. And we're going to clean this up right down through here. So, let's get our... You know what? I think I want the thinner ruler, though, because that one's a little thick. Let me grab the thinner ruler. Hold on just a second. Okay. So let's clean this up here. See if I can get this straightened up here. Okay. Now, if you're not comfortable using a knife on your old book, feel free to use your scissors. I do come back in with scissors and trim up edges like this. But for my spine, I definitely want to make sure that I get it straight. And you guys know how well I cut crooked. There we go. All right, so those pieces right there can come in the trash. Now, I'm probably going to have to create a spine because this one is really, really bitter. Brittle, not bitter. Or I'm going to have to reinforce this one. I would like to keep this one if I can. But if I do, I'm going to have to reinforce it with something. All right, so let's take our scissors here and clean these edges up. So now in here where this is torn, I have some vintage fabric on order that is the color of this little pig, and between this little piggy and this that I think I'm going to put right in here. Okay, and then this will get glued down. These edges here will get glued down. But I want to get this cleaned up first. See if I can get in here. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm just taking my scissors and I'm just following the edge. Just being really careful not to cut the book board. Okay, so this edge right here, this all has to get glued down. And to glue that down, I am going to use, okay, where's my PVA glue at? I'm going to use PVA glue. And when I do that, I'll show you. I will show you that. Being an old book, I don't want to use anything but that. Okay, so let's get that cut off. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I need my bigger scissors over here. There we go. That's better. As you can see, it's not, big pieces that I'm taking off. It's just the little... Okay, I'm going to glue that down first before I trim any more. So let's get these little pieces off. And then we'll get some PVA glue in there. And let that dry overnight. Before we do anything else, we'll get some PVA glue in there. And let it dry. Okay, so let me grab the brush for the PVA. Hold on just a second. Let me grab the brush. Okay, the reason I had to grab another brush was the one I had was way too big to get in those little spots. Okay, and I need some more PVA glue in there. Okay, so this is the PVA glue I'm using. It's pH neutral. It's archival safe. And it's perfect for these old books. It's made by Lynette Co. Okay. Yeah, the other brush I had was just way too big to get under these little spots here. Now, this will have to dry overnight before we can do anything else with it. So that's why I wanted to go on and do it. Now, you can use PVA glue for any of your bookmaking projects, any of them. You know, all the gluing that we do on things, you can use this. It's not going to hurt them. It's perfect for them. But it is a little expensive. And it is a wet white glue, so it does take some time to dry. That's why most creatives don't use it. It does take a little time to dry. But for projects like this, it's perfect. It's just perfect. Because you can put this aside and let it dry overnight. And it won't hurt your, it won't hurt the old paper. Okay. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on my brush, sticking it underneath it. It dries clear. I helped my friend Kim create a journal, and we put her entire cover on with this to keep it from, coming through the fabric and all the other papers that we put together, and it did perfect. It did perfect. Now, like I said, it takes some time to dry, but you have to know where you're putting your pages, because it does not give you any wiggle room. But I do like it. I really do like the glue. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Let's get that down. My boys are telling me they're hungry. All right, let's do this side. And then we're going to call it a day. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this little tour into the beginning of our children's book adventure. And if you're new to the Ladybug Journals, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have new friends join us in the craft room. And I'd like to also welcome our current subscribers back for another fun adventure. It's always good to have you guys with us. I love having friends in the craft room with me, doing new projects and having some fun. And if you guys ever have any questions, you can always send me a comment. You can send me an email. All the information's there. All you have to do is send it, and I'll be glad to answer it for you. Okay, so as I continue going around the edge of this book here. Now, remember, this paper is very brittle. Old books have very brittle paper. You have to be really careful lifting it up. And I'm just rubbing it off the edge whenever I get a little too much on the edge. If this is your first time visiting the Ladybug Journals, I invite you to, whoops, missed a whole corner. I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share. If you know some friends that you think would enjoy this project, invite them along. Share the video and have them come create with us. That would be super. We love having new friends. I missed this piece too. Yep, we love having new friends here on the channel. There we go. Right there. Now, these two covers have to dry. Now, I will tell you, the one thing you do have to do is make sure you clean your brush after you use this stuff. If not, your brush is, well, it's history. So, that's where we are so far here. We have to let our covers dry. Oops. Let's go on and put a little bit down here. Let's keep that together if we can. And we are going to put book corners on. Down here. And I think we're going to do that next time. We're going to go on and get the book covers on. Because as you can tell, these book corners are they're a little messy. Yeah, we're going to try to get it together. And then we'll get the book corners put on to protect it. And I'll see about enforcing this, and I'll show you guys how I do that. I'll take you step by step through my process, so you can see what I do. And I think I just had an idea of what I'm gonna do. Maybe if it'll work. I think I know what I'm gonna do. Alrighty. So thank you again for joining us here at the Ladybug Journals. I'm so glad you came. And our next video, we're gonna get our signatures in, and we're going to get our book put together. Hopefully, we're going to get our book put together because everything should be dry. We'll get our papers cut because I'm going to go rooting through all my papers and see if I can't find some to match some of these colors. And then we'll get started on creating, and we'll have some fun. And this won't take a very long time to create. So, I hope you create with me and have some fun. And until I see you again in the next video, ta-ta for now.